Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday, and that means one thing and one thing only. That means it's time for our Owner Talk podcast. Over 15 weeks, this podcast maps out as we start from zero on our campaign to support Mexican tourism post-COVID. Over 15 weeks, me and my co-host Peter will be covering our journey of how we try to distribute 1,000 bookings per month to quality car rental companies in Mexico. Join us on our journey as we try to sign partnerships, drive traffic to our website, and try to make everything work. And watch us succeed or fail miserably. Join us and learn with us what to do and what to do not. With this exclusive all access to Practical Business 101.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi there, man.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going not bad, I'd say. Weather is kind of hot here after coming back.
I think exactly. I think that's the first thing that deserves mentioning. Where are you?
I'm back in Czechia, actually. That's the official name of it, isn't it?
No more Spain.
No more Spain. Back to the rat race, and the rats are winning.
Very optimistic. Very optimistic.
How are you?
Yeah, good. I've been here this whole time. So for me, no culture shock. We just keep going at it. For me, weather's good, but I haven't been in 40 degrees in Spain, so I'm pretty happy. We're making good progress. So all good, I would say.
Talking about progress, yeah, I had to jump in a little bit in the work today. Last time I checked, there was 2 more transcripts to be done, and I finally found something which is much more suitable than what we were using up to date.
Yeah,
what I was trying to achieve, again, for the first time in my life doing that, is actually secure a transcript of a speech. I use a speech-to-text tool every other day, but not the other way, not suitable for a video transcript. So I was sort of thinking, how to hire somebody for the job. And it was quite funny because I went on one of these freelancer websites offering, some people were offering their services there. And after about a 15-minute discussion with somebody, I said to myself, well, why don't I check out some software like this? And the exact same time which I devoted to hiring somebody, it took about 15 minutes or 20 minutes for software, which is basically online. I'm otter.ai.
Yeah.
But eventually, the first offer was somebody would actually do it for, let me think, let me remember. The lady who I was talking to, she said that it would take 8 minutes per a minute of speech to transcribe. And
so that means like she's spending 8 minutes.
She would spend
on a minute of
8 to 10
transcription.
minutes. 8 to 10 minutes.
So
if you got
a 10-minute video, that would take her basically 80 minutes for transcription.
Yeah, something like that. 80 to 100 minutes for transcription. And she charged like some kind of outrageous money for that, plus some editing and all that stuff. Eventually, Otter AI offers the service for some reasonable amount of minutes transcription per month, which is perfectly suitable for our purpose, for free. And we can transcribe up to 600 minutes per month. And it's got some extra features which we are not using at the moment, but it perfectly suits our purpose to use it as a free tool to transcribe. So what I was getting at, I'm going to be using this software. We're using this software to do the job, but on top of that, I want to look at another tool, because sometimes I think when I was doing the first time, the first episode, there was a little bit of a tweak which it needed, and I want to see if there's something maybe a little bit not free, but charge some kind of basic amount, and then maybe the service would be even better. So we'll see.
It's incredible the kind of things that you can do in 2021.
Oh yeah, like this used to be a job. This used
Yep,
to be a regular
exactly.
job. This used to be a full-time job. There were people in the medical business taking audio recordings of doctors, basically reporting the health reports and walking around the hospital. And then there was a team of ladies or men sitting somewhere in the basement on a full-time as a full-time employee and transcribing these texts into medical documentation.
Yeah. And I would say not only in medical, I'd probably be in most of the professions. And it's quite interesting the development of these kind of services, right? I mean, maybe 2 decades ago, you would have exactly what you're talking about. So you have a group of people who would be transcribing whatever's, I don't know, recorded. Uh, Maybe I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I don't know how long, maybe actually 20 years ago, these kinds of jobs started being outsourced to um, Eastern countries or
Yeah.
countries with cheaper labor. And now we're
Hmm.
getting into a point, or it's probably been here for a few years, but I mean,
Yeah.
if it's not something that you're specifically paying attention to, it just escapes your
Hmm.
attention. It's not something that you know about. And that is, you just have these kinds of tools where, and also, I mean, it's not just the time that you're spending transcribing, right? Or it's also the time that you're spending hiring that person and
Absolutely.
these kinds of things and having that kind. So if we go back, I mean, just to have a little bit of a, let's do a little bit of a business case calculation.
Uh-huh.
So when you were talking to this lady who was supposed to transcribe it, I guess this was a like an English teacher or somebody who does this for a living.
Yeah, well, it's one of the services that she offered. She would offer translations, simultaneously translating or translations like paper, like not
Yeah,
simultaneous.
yeah,
And she would probably provide even lecturing in any of these languages. I think she was offering two or three languages, and then transcription, of course, right?
yeah.
And this would be like a regular job for her.
So what would be the price that we would pay for this, for the transcription? I mean, our podcast, generally speaking, is about 30 minutes,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
So that'll be 30 minutes of transcription.
Yeah, yeah. I remember she was telling me like 300 minutes would be the amount of time that she would have to spend, including some editing
So
and
it's like 5 hours, right?
5 hours. Yeah, and she offered a so 30, 40 bucks. Yeah, 30
Yeah,
bucks,
for
30
$40 per hour.
per hour. Yeah,
Okay, so we have, so that was 30 minutes.
yeah.
So no, 300 minutes, sorry. 300
300
minutes,
minutes.
that's 5 hours,
Mm-hmm.
$40 per hour. So
Mm-hmm.
that's $200.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. And then, but I mean, to be honest with you, that's quite interesting because obviously you did it yourself.
Yeah.
You did the automated transcription,
Mm-hmm.
and then it took you about what, 15, 20 minutes to edit?
Yeah, first, yeah, definitely something like that. It took about 25 minutes for the machine to listen to it. I put it in a little bit higher speed because I was sort of curious what it does, and
Yeah,
then it took me another 15 minutes to edit.
yeah. So I mean, something that you can do within an hour.
I would say so.
I find it quite interesting that somebody who is in this kind of a business doesn't do that, because
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
mean, I would expect, okay, I mean, you can do, you can choose to do things the old way, which is,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll just
yeah,
do everything manually.
yeah.
Or I would, in because, and then you're taking, okay, let's say she's taking 5 hours, she's actually taking five hours out of a day
Mm-hmm.
to do it for $200, right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
I think it might be much more interesting for her just to say, okay, guys, so this is going to cost you, this is going to be like an hour and a half, and I'm going to charge you I don't know, let's say she's charging 40 per hour. So let's say I'm going to charge you 60, or maybe to make a little bit more extra, I'm going to charge you $80. But you're actually doing it in an hour, right? So
Yeah,
all of a sudden
yeah.
you're making double
Mm-hmm.
the money that you were making before, and you're still staying competitive. Because I think it's not just about doing the actual translation, but it's also about the fact that you're delivering value. Because, like, ideally, what you want as somebody who's buying the service is you want things taken care of without having to do it yourself.
Absolutely, because you can't eliminate the human factor 100%. There's always some
Yeah,
kind of somebody who has to take it and deliver it like
yeah.
packaged, and that's what she could have been doing. On the other hand, I didn't do any further research after this like dramatic difference in price, which I
Yeah.
saw. So maybe there is somebody out there doing that. Okay, by all means. But this lady wasn't that person.
I mean, what you end up doing sooner or later, if this is something that you keep doing with a transcript, is you're just going to hire a virtual assistant
Hmm.
who's going to cost, I don't know, like $10 or something, which
Yeah.
I think you should very easily be able to get a virtual assistant from the Philippines or something, and that person's gonna do it in an hour or 2 hours, and it's gonna cost $20. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna record our recording and then just
Hmm.
send it. We're gonna have an SOP for it, and the cost of the whole thing is gonna be $20, and nobody's gonna have to do anything else than
Hmm.
just post it on the website. And probably a part of what he or she will do will be posting it on the website as well. So we're actually gonna be even saving time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I find it very interesting where technology goes every time we talk about it, because there's this thing of actually the technology taking away jobs, but at the same
Hmm.
time, I think the technology is actually adding more opportunities to do more high value type of jobs. You know, like
Hmm.
when you're talking about, but you just have to adjust. You just have to do different things, and so
Yeah.
it's something. I think it's something that just deserves a little bit of um, thinking about it.
Hmm.
Because I mean, yeah, if you're just focused on, okay, I'm just going to be doing translations and I'm not going to
Yeah.
learn anything new, then it's not a very good position to be in, because in a few years, this is just going to be a job that's going to be fully automated. The
Mm.
translation, I mean, even now, if you're I've traveled abroad a few times, and if you use Google Translate, it's super easy to just dictate what you want to say in your
Yeah.
language
Yeah.
and just point it in another person, and it's going to say it in their language. So basically, we already have these like personal, and it's been around for a long time, but Google's really made it super useful, super easy to use, where you can just use your phone and use it as your translation device.
Yeah.
And so I think this kind of a job is just, it's just decreasing in value, and it's going to be decreasing in value. But what you can
Hmm.
do is you can embrace the technology. And the truth is,
Hmm.
I mean, how difficult was it to use that tool that you're using? I mean, I didn't take a look at it, but I guess it was pretty simple, right?
It was very intuitive. I mean, I didn't have to do any specific reading. I think I took a little tutorial to be honest. It took
Yeah,
about three minutes, but it was
yeah,
just a tutorial. Like you find this on here, you'll find this over
yeah.
here on the page, so you don't have to really look for it for a long
And
time.
it's a skill that you're going to be using in the future as well. I mean, if,
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
especially if you're somebody who's focusing on translation, is like, okay, I found this tool, I can use it. I mean, use it once, and then I just keep using it. So I think it's definitely something that's worth thinking about. But the thing is that like you gotta increase a little bit your skill set. So it's not just about the translation, but it's actually about the service that you're providing. So it's about, okay, guys, I can do that for you. It's actually gonna take this long. Is there something that you want me to do? Something else that you want me to do? I'm gonna edit it. You need to post it somewhere, and so on and so on. And you can just be
Yeah.
taking more jobs, and saving time. There's still, as you say, there's still going to be the human factor, because like you need to be taking the outcomes across different platforms. So yeah, I think it's a question of attitude and a question of um, how you're looking at the technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely agreed. Last time you were talking about how basically we have like four pillars of the of like success pillars for Secretgoats.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you to maybe pick one, or maybe let's just talk about all of them, mention them one more time, because that's something which basically now gives us a say like a driving mode, or like a compass towards
Yeah.
all the agenda that's basically snowballing around the
Yeah.
project.
Yeah. 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 I hope you have them written down in front of you because I don't remember what they are.
All right, well, let's do this.
It's just too much stuff that's going around, you know?
Okay, well, let me put it, let's start, now let me start talking about them. Number one pillar, number one factor is getting suppliers.
Hmm.
The next one is analytics. The next one is incoming traffic. And the last one is getting paid.
Okay. That's my
Uh,
favorite point. Right?
well,
That's the one that's the furthest, I would say.
it's the furthest one, but it's the one that we're aiming to, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Of
so
course.
if I well, maybe we can either let's mention them again, or let's just try to say how that kind of relates to the ultimate goal of the whole project, which we haven't mentioned today yet, and that is
That is that is of course still the same. That is still the 1,000 bookings that you get distributed to um, independent rental companies in Mexico. That's the project right here. Um, I think even the first point, getting suppliers, is extremely interesting. I mean, they're all quite interesting, but since this is kind of a project that we started with from zero, and that means that we had zero concept of what we would be working on, zero structure and so on, and the only thing that we actually knew were just the objectives that we would be working on. The getting suppliers is just something that I wrote down last week. And we always knew that we would have to get the suppliers, but as you kind of go into the technological part of the whole thing, and
yeah.
also taking into consideration that we only have 15 weeks, that
Mhm.
kind of mixes up the whole thing, and
Yeah.
we're kind of in a situation right now where uh, I'm questioning how fast or how efficient do we or can we get the suppliers, and whether we should actually be trying to get the suppliers on the platform, because I'm not sure if this is something we mentioned last time, how many cars we're going to need on the platform. Did we talk about it?
We mentioned the magical number, which is 3,000, or
It was,
that,
yeah.
that would be like a number of that would be a fleet which would
Yeah.
comfortably accommodate the
Yeah.
1,000 bookings
Yeah.
per month.
So we would need over 3,000 cars on platform, which is not. I mean, if you take into consideration all the things that you need to do to contract with the suppliers and so on and so on, and so I mean, if you really think about it, I would say the most important thing for us, because that's kind of what we're
Uh-huh.
building here. Um, it's not just about getting 1,000 bookings and let's say collecting money or whatever. The most important thing, because we're building business that goes past the 15 weeks,
Yeah.
the most important thing is trying to validate, and that's part also of the learning process. That's part of what we're talking about, which is we're learning along the way.
Yeah.
The most important part is, from my point of view, the business case.
Validating the business
Yeah,
case.
validating the business case.
Hmm.
So I mean, let's think about it a little bit. I mean, what if we don't get the cars on the platform that we need? Well, then we cannot validate the business case. Then we cannot actually practically get 1,000 bookings. So I mean, and it's something that we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one thing that we need to take into consideration, and this is, I got inspired by one of our clients who are working in a similar fashion,
Yeah.
is just doing the process manually, which is maybe even without having a contract. And it's, I mean, this is a gray area. I mean, it definitely deserves a little bit of thinking, but the way what I'm leaning towards is I'm leaning towards displaying offering on our website, which is taken from the suppliers that we want to be working with. Obviously, we're going to be contracting those suppliers, but having the offering first and selling it first, and then
Yeah.
contracting the suppliers rather than contracting the suppliers first and then trying to get the traffic. Because if you think about it, if you think about any kind of business rule, if you have a project like this, the number one thing they always tell you is sell first.
Sales, sales, sales,
Yeah,
sales.
it's all about
Absolutely.
sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain to me a little bit, like you're talking about putting it, like explain, just go into a little bit more detail about doing it manually. Is that, does that mean, or do we see actually taking the offerings off of the website of our partner and transposing it, or basically linking it to Secret Goats physically? What does that, what does exactly mean the
Well,
manual?
I mean, I mean, there are probably two fundamental things. Number one is that originally what we were thinking about is we were thinking about the fact that we're just going to have secretgoats.com, which is going to be a referral website, and then we would probably have a connection with all the suppliers through Affiworks, which is a platform that we created as well. It allows for the suppliers to connect with marketers, resellers, and so on, with a very simple 5-minute implementation.
Mm-hmm.
But also that requires that you have these guys contracted and that they are
Mm-hmm.
officially working with you, which I'm
Yes.
not sure if we're going to be able to do that. I mean, we're going to try it, but if we can't get it, we still need to have that coverage. And so what I think is going to be a way how we can do it is we can just set up our own website where we have our own inventory,
Mm-hmm.
which is copying the inventory of our current and potential suppliers,
Yeah.
and people can actually make the booking there. And the reason why this seems like a good alternative is because that allows us to track the whole business case end to end. So from the moment the person, or from the moment a person sees our offering on secretgoats.com up until the point of making the actual reservation. So that's something that we're gonna see directly on our website, and we're not gonna have to communicate with the suppliers about it before we get the booking. And I think that also is going to make it much easier for us to go to these suppliers and say, hey guys, we're getting bookings for you. Um, is this something that you're interested in? Here's a client. There you go. Let's establish a little bit more long-term relationship. Because from my point of view, with a new project like the one we have, it's not going to be easy at all to go to these guys and say, hey guys, we want to work with you on selling your inventory,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's basically about reputation. And I mean, we've been in the business for a while. We've been processing bookings for a few years quite successfully. We have a bunch of clients and so on, but this is kind of a new thing. And I'm just not sure about the whole 15-week objective, because we're in week 4 right now. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's oof, 3 months, 3 months, 3 something months to go. And
yeah,
that's gonna be fast. Just like
yeah,
That's going to be really fast.
And there's a lot
So,
of stuff to do. Yeah.
building our own basically inventory that requires infrastructure, that requires basically hiring people and being able to work and execute bookings. Is there that's a big part, or that's a big step? Is that the way we're going to go?
You mean hiring people?
Hiring people and basically setting up somebody who can start receiving orders and handling the orders and verifying them and sending orders to the suppliers and communicating with them, etc., etc.
I mean, it's a question. It's a question of, I would say, probably validating the business case first, or getting external funding, which is also something that came across this week. Which is okay. So, and that's quite an interesting thing, because I had a conversation with a friend of mine who has his own business, and he's quite successful at it. They're making good money. They have a team of 15 developers. And as we kind of as we kind of talking about it, he's asking me all these questions about the project and like, hey guys, okay, so why do you think it's a good idea? What about the markets? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? And then as we're talking about it, I actually found out that I don't think we have it written down in a concise fashion. You know, we kind of like we kind of
Mm-hmm.
focusing on
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
1,000 bookings.
Yeah.
We're focusing on getting this done. But if you take a step back and if you think about, so what is it that we're actually trying to build? I mean, are we trying to just make money, or are we trying to build something bigger? And I think for me personally, the biggest motivation is actually building something better, meaning putting together a team, working based on a shared philosophy, and helping these businesses, providing a new, better service for.
Leaving a
Uh,
legacy, imprinting
uh,
something.
yeah, but I
Okay.
mean, practically, really, I mean, at this point, at this stage of the business, of course legacy is always something that's it's nice and beautiful, it's a nice word and so on, but at this point I'm just thinking about, okay, is this going to work? We need to first prove
Mm-hmm.
that it's going to work. And yeah, I mean, if you look at it, I just did research today, and the truth is that um, we are offering the best commissions in the industry. You know, we are actually offering the best business case to people who will be working with us. So that's quite important. And it's something that's important to mention.
Mm-hmm.
We're also offering the easiest to implement system to the suppliers,
Mm-hmm.
because the real problem the suppliers have, if we're talking about independent and local
Yeah.
guys,
Mm-hmm.
is that they won't be able to get into these big search engines like rentalcars.com, booking.com, I don't know, Expedia and so on, because these are distributed through the so-called global distribution systems. And to get into a global distribution system, you need to have a certain size and you need to spend a certain amount of money to get there. And it's just generally not easy at all. Usually you have to be a franchise business. You know, you need to be a Hertz, you got to be a Budget, you got to be something like that, like a huge,
Enterprise.
huge,
Yeah.
huge company.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's a reason these companies control between 70 to 95% of the
Yeah.
business globally. You know,
Mm.
so
Yeah.
it's so that's actually what we're creating, and this whole thing needs to be put together, and we need to explain where the, I think, market opportunity is, not only to the external person but also to ourselves. Um, so part of the whole journey that we're uh, going through, and part of the whole learning process, I think, since we did without preparation, it was not like we had a month of strategizing before starting
Yeah.
this project. I mean, we just started this project by saying, let's do this project and let's start.
Sure.
Week one is going to be week one, literally week one. So we really knew uh, nothing about how it's going to go down. And now we're in a position where it's it's just unraveling,
It's breaking up into these bits and points, and each one of these parts is just snowballing itself, and then
Yeah,
all together they're building this huge
yeah,
infrastructure of to-dos and
yeah,
tasks and stuff that needs to be done. On the other hand, we both value the saying that the best way to learn is to do, and we are doing it. So hopefully it's going to bring us closer to success. I still believe we can do it. It's 11 weeks to go, but now basically is the time that we've kind of started realizing what is ahead of us, and we see a big elephant, but you can always eat an elephant, you just have to slice it, right? So now we're starting to slice the elephant.
I think it's a yeah. I think it's a puzzle. It's basically you're just discovering all the pieces that you have on the table, and the pieces that you gotta be working with, and you're just trying to put them in the right order. So, for example, okay, when we talk about hiring, do we need hiring? Do we not need hiring? Maybe we can go without hiring short term. Long term, we definitely gonna need to hire somebody if everything works out. But at the same time, to hire somebody, you need a um, uh, funding for that, right? So it's kind of like, okay, so we need to take a look at, and as we're talking about this, and as I'm talking to other people about this whole project, it turns out that yeah, I can somehow relate the information and all the things that we're working on, but at the same time it's obvious that it'd be useful to have a let's say a deck that we can show to other people, so that it's concise, it's repeated, it's somehow in the form of a process that is just consistent, and also helps us on the journey, being consistent and doing what needs to be done, um, in a way that doesn't jump from one thing to another.
Okay.
I think it's called consistency.
Consistent. I think we had have we said the word consistent today enough? We mentioned and focused on being
Yeah,
consistent enough.
yeah.
Okay, well, fantastic. Basically, that kind of wraps up the main or the first success factor which we have, and that's getting the suppliers. I think we should leave the other ones to for next time, or maybe give them a little bit more focus on some other episode.
Sure. I'm working this week. I've been working on the presentation on the pitch deck. That's something I'll be working on for in the coming week as well. The question of how we're going to work with suppliers is also going to come up. I'm going to show my presentation to a few people. We're going to go through the presentation as well, the pitch deck. So I think a lot of interesting points will come out of that, and maybe it'll give us a little bit of, let's say, a high level view, and we're going to see what we need to do with that. With that being said, I think the agenda for next week is set, and that's just something that we have, something we can look forward to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anyway, if anybody who is listening to our journey wants to get in contact with us, don't forget to look at our website, secretgoats.com. Where we are trying very consistently to promote quality rental companies in Mexico, and we're aiming towards 1,000 bookings per month, well, within a 15-week journey. And this podcast follows our journey, and you're always welcome to either give us a shout, or email us, or tell us what you think about what we are doing.
All right, very good. So, with that being said, thanks for listening. Good talking to you as always. Let's hear it again next week on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, thanks, Pavel. Talk to you later.
All right.
Okay.
Have a great week.
Yeah.
Good luck.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.